Hey everyone, welcome to Magic Monday, the absolute hottest day that Victoria has ever experienced in its lifetime on the planet. So, wow, I'm not sure if it's a hot, steamy day where you are right now, but it is absolutely sweltering right now. So, we have never experienced heat like this I don't know, in my recent future. Inescapable. Even my dog, you might hear her huffing beside me, but wanted to jump on this week and answer a question that I got about course platforms. And last year, I would say, was my penultimate journey in using course platforms because I had three of them going at the same time. So I was, navigating between a few different ones. And all of them have their strengths and all of them have a few minor drawbacks. And I'll just share the ones that I really loved the most. And I'll also jump in here and answer any questions that I see on here. I'm trying to work out my system now so that I've got this live and then I've got the questions on my iPad. You know, for those of you who do a lot of lives, you're probably used to doing all of this, but all the kudos to you about having so many things going. I know that a few of the friends that I've watched to do this or that I know who have done some live streams very often are working with a producer. And I've very often been the producer behind the scenes working with somebody getting their live streams going. But I've not been pushing all the buttons and been the person on screen at the same time. So I really have to hand it to some of the people who I've really seen kicking it out there. One of them is Luria. I think her last name is Petrucci. Lots of you probably have heard her name or heard about her. She has been in the internet world for a long, long time, but she is a goddess around live streaming. So I've learned a ton from her. I'll put her name in the show notes below. And actually, they're not show notes on Facebook, they're comments below. So just getting used to all of the different formats. So I'm going to tell you which ones I started with and as I said, the benefits of each. So originally, the very first course platform I ever learned was Thinkific. And so I had a program that I put on Thinkific. I quite liked it. It was an emerging Canadian company at the time, and they were fairly new. I would say they had very few bugs even way back then. And I've just watched it grow by leaps and bounds. I've seen a few of the friends that I have put their courses on Thinkific, and I love it. The one thing I do not love about it is it's not, in my experience, hugely customizable. So when I'm actually about four Thinkific courses, and they all look very similar. There's not a lot of differentiation of the branding between them. So maybe I'm watching courses that have, that haven't unloaded very many of the bells and whistles. Maybe there is more under the hood than in Thinkific than I've seen in the last few years, but very solid program and medium priced. It's not a hugely expensive one. Very, very solid. So I highly recommend Thinkific. That was my first review. The second one that I used was WordPress, and I've gone back and forth between a few different WordPress options. The best luck that I had with WordPress was when I was working with a team of coaches who understood WordPress and taught me how to build my website, taught me how to start to understand the whole skin thing of using WordPress and having a portal on there. So I've had great experience with LearnDash. That's the one that I've used the most. I've also hosted just short courses, mini courses, just straight onto my WordPress site. So it doesn't have to have a gated, there are a few workarounds without having to actually purchase a course portal in WordPress if you're just doing short courses and you don't have a lot of clients. But if you're planning to scale, you will definitely need some sort of a course portal to use on WordPress. And WordPress.org was the one that I've used. I'm pretty sure LearnDash is the only one that I use, although something's telling me that I did have another one in my very early days, a different skin site. I just can't recall what it was right now. LearnDash is the one that I would highly recommend as a WordPress portal. And then the one that I've used most in the last year that I'll be honest, as a user, I loved the most is a product called Experientify. It's Experientify. And I love that it's a gamified solution. So it's a gamified platform, and oh, here goes my dog. She needs a breath of fresh air. There he goes, Sammy. It's a gamified platform, and I absolutely love the motivations. I'm probably an extrinsically motivated person, and so I found it the most fun as a user, but that was me. When I surveyed my clients, most of them about my age, I think it's very solid for a younger demographic, but most of the clients that I surveyed, I would say it went about 25% favorable and 75% not favorable, just because the gamification thing didn't really spur them on. So it was kind of defeating the purpose of embedding that. And they were benign about whether they liked there were these fun spurring on kinds of, boom chicka wah wah and ka-ching. And, I loved it. I thought it was so fun. And as I say, as a user, when I was taking a course built on that program, I really enjoyed it. But know your audience, check out your audience. And with all of these platforms, I highly recommend, if you are your ideal client, check them out and see if you like them and if you like the look of them, because you're going to be spending a fair amount of time in them. And if you don't love the platform, then you're just not going to enjoy it as much. You're not going to want to sell it as much. And I think it will seep through to your clients. They'll start to pick it up. And what I have now is, I've used it for 2 different clients, and I'm not sure why I thought it was beyond my grasp for pricing. I thought it was really expensive, and I originally thought that Kajabi was, so Kajabi is the one that I am using now, and I just find it's got so much integrated into it. It's got an email marketing, it's got all of my payment processors, it's all of the course portals and platforms are very customizable. I can make them look beautiful. I can get extra plugins, third-party plugins, and make them look amazingly beautiful, which is what I've done with some of my website pages. But more than anything, it's all under one roof. So I have my website there. I don't have to go to WordPress and do a website and have a portal somewhere else. And last year, I'll tell you, I had so many passwords and places to go. I just about lost my mind with all of the SOPs and using all of my standards of practice and knowing how to use all of these different platforms, that I thought I just need to simplify things. So that's what I've done in using Kajabi. And that's why I think I would give it, and I've given it my all-time vote by landing there right now for my audience, for me as the user. I think that's another thing to keep in mind. And it's really important for you as the user or you as the owner of it, and the person, you and possibly your team members or your virtual assistant. It's got to work for you as well as your clients. So that has been sort of my experience with the different platforms, the reasons that I've chosen one over the other. And again, as I said, between Heroic, or I'm sorry, not Heroic. Heroic is the web platform. Experientify, which I loved. Kajabi, which I rested with, WordPress, which I also appreciate the dynamics of. I forgot to mention with WordPress that it's an open source software, so it's very inexpensive comparatively to some of the other ones. But if you don't know how to do something, it's not like you can just dial into a help desk and say, hey. With Kajabi, there is an army of people to help you when you don't know how to do something, and their library of support is very well organized. So for somebody who doesn't want to have to track down help or let tech things that I don't know slow me down, I just wanted something that would be super streamlined, and so that's why I landed with Kajabi. So I'm going to jump in, see if I hacked my own system, as my friend Georgie says, and see if I can see your questions here. I can see a few little thumbs up and likes. I just don't really know who's given them yet. And so give me a second here. Didn't hack my own system quite well enough. So I will dial in and just see if there are any questions here. And if you have any, feel free to post them in the comments below. If you happen to see this later on in the week and have a question about platforms, please let me know. Oh, here we go. Yes, Suzanne is saying you can gamify on WordPress as well with a plugin. Yes. Actually, thanks for saying that, Suzanne, because you can gamify on any of them. The Experientify has a degree of gamification and sounds and alerts and videos and kind of the hip leaderboard things. I know there are definitely WordPress skins and plugins that you can get. And I know that you have one as well. If you want to mention your friend here who created your gamification add-on, this platform is all about sharing stuff. By the way, I'm not a affiliate for any of these programs. I actually am. That's not true. I automatically am an affiliate for Kajabi because I became a Kajabi hero, don't you know? And so signed up for their partners program. And so yeah, and it probably doesn't look so good because that's the one that I recommended, but that is the one that I recommend. As I say, I loved Experientify. And if you do have tech knowledge and you do know how to play around in WordPress, and you don't have to know how to code to be in WordPress, but I think it does require a little bit more tech knowledge than some of the average solutions. So yeah, Suzanne, I love LearnDash as well. LearnDash also looks really beautiful. A friend of mine has also used LearnDash to amazing epic scale. Like she has, golly, I don't even know how many students, in the tens of thousands of students, all going from this one LearnDash portal. So it's sturdy, and I've never have never put any of my platforms to that kind of a test, but I think that Kajabi as well, I can say that I know that Amy Porterfield and Brendan Burchard and some of those people who actually have very, very large programs to scale have not had problems with these softwares. So I just think you've just got to, follow the ones that are, that you see other people using it, and make sure that it just meets the needs of your clients. And again, I think it's this wonderful balance of meeting the needs of your clients and how they like to consume the courses that you're offering, and also you as the producer, how you like to watch them and produce them and give them to your clients. It's kind of this two-way beautiful exchange. So I'm not seeing any major questions here. I'll leave it at that before I totally melt down. This is a great example of shooting during the summer. I've got fans going. I kept my studio super cool before I turned the lights on and the camera on, but I'm getting a little bit of heat. And of course, I don't really want to have a fan on while I'm live because the mic's pretty sensitive. So it's really something to keep in mind. If the summer's going to be this hot, kids, let's do our lives early in the morning, or just keep in mind that fanning ourselves off and staying cool is part of the job. So wishing you all a wonderful week, and we'll talk with you next week. Next week I am going to give Instagram a go. I'm going to give Instagram Live a go. So I'm not sure whether I'm going to do it first and come on here after, or whether I'll just post here and say that I'm going to be on Instagram. But for those of you who are dual platformers, I'm trying to figure out this dance and figure out what I can do on multiple platforms. So I will keep you posted. Again, wishing you all a fabulous week, and yeah, stay cool. Stay cool out there, folks.